Look at the device in your hand. Before that microchip slots into its circuit board, millions of people who have never met, who don't speak the same language, coordinate the extraction of rare metals, the coding of software, and the logistics of global shipping. We experience this vast web of global trade as an innate human reflex, but for the vast majority of our history, exchanging goods across oceans and continents was exceptionally rare. The roadblock is a matter of sheer risk. Interacting with a stranger carries what economists call transaction costs. If you cannot guarantee that the person across from you will keep their promise or that their goods are real, you have to spend an enormous amount of time and energy verifying, negotiating, and protecting yourself. Without a reliable way to strip that friction out of the system, complex economies cannot take shape. Trade is restricted to tight, localized networks of close kin and immediate neighbors. To see how populations break out of isolation, we look at the river of reality. Developed by William Weaver, it models societal evolution as stacking tiers. A new layer only emerges once the tier below provides a stable foundation. The massive engine of global economics sits at level 4. It relies entirely on the stability of level 3, the domain of shared religion and ethical values. That third level generates the critical missing ingredient. By establishing shared moral codes and informal rules, a society creates widespread trust. It allows individuals to anticipate how others will act, ensuring a baseline of safety. That cultural trust acts as an invisible operating system. Only after it is successfully installed across a population can the complex machinery of commerce boot up and begin running. Relying solely on community goodwill hits a ceiling quickly. To scale trade across thousands of miles, those implicit moral understandings must be hardened into clear, enforceable rules. The philosophical blueprint for that transition comes from thinkers like John Locke. He argued that property rights are a natural, pre-political condition. By mixing your own labor with the world, like farming a field or carving a tool, you establish a legitimate claim of ownership over the result. Written frameworks like his 2 Treatises of Government gave the abstract desire for security a concrete, rational structure. They defined exactly what could be owned, legally defended, and ultimately transferred to someone else. Economists like Douglas North categorize these legal structures, things like property lines and contract law, as formal institutions. By guaranteeing that agreements will be honored and theft will be punished, these institutions drastically cut down those paralyzing transaction costs. Secure property rights act as the legal circuit board for the economy. They create a predictable environment where value can flow safely between absolute strangers. Once you have millions of strangers trading securely, a massive logistical problem emerges. How do you coordinate what all these people should produce, and in what quantities, if there is no central authority dictating the plan? The economist Friedrich Hayek called this the knowledge problem. He observed that the information required to run an economy, local supply shortages, individual skills, fleeting consumer needs, is endlessly dynamic and entirely dispersed. It is impossible for any single planner to gather and process it all. The solution that evolved is the price system. Instead of relying on a central brain, markets operate as a decentralized communication network. Prices act as knowledge surrogates, simple numbers that condense vast amounts of global data into a single actionable signal. Hayek illustrated this with tin. If a mine collapses in one part of the world, the price of tin spikes. A manufacturer on another continent doesn't need to read a geological report or even know the mine exists. The number alone tells them the metal is scarcer, prompting them to immediately start economizing and searching for substitutes. This is what Hayek called a catalaxy. It is a highly coordinated, self-organizing order that responds continuously to global shifts, driven entirely by the rapid communication of price signals. With a trusted network and clear price signals in place, individuals have the security to focus their labor on a single, specific skill. This dynamic was famously analyzed by Adam Smith. He realized that when people don't have to worry about growing all their own food or building their own houses, they can divide their labor. This chart visualizes his pin factory observation. A single person performing every step might produce 20 pins a day. But a small team of specialized workers, drawing wire, cutting, polishing, can collectively output 4,800 pins per worker every single day. That deep specialization is the physical engine of wealth. It takes the invisible framework of property rights and price signals and translates them into massive, tangible increases in production. This creates a continuous feedback loop. Specialized labor produces wealth, which expands the market, incentivizing deeper specialization and accelerating output. This cycle scales isolated communities into interconnected societies, generating the staggering abundance of the modern world. Yet, this expansion eventually hits a ceiling. As the market's complexity grows, it spawns collective externalities, problems like resource depletion, environmental damage, or monopolistic control. These are systemic issues that decentralized, self-interested price signals simply aren't equipped to fix. To manage the massive logistical and social challenges created by commerce, the societal structure must build upward once more. The limitations of the market necessitate the emergence of Level 5, the domain of politics and the flow of governance.